Yes, guys, welcome to a brand new video. My name is Conan, and today we're going to be talking about the fastest way to get down to 10% body fat. So, everyone wants to know the fastest way to get down to 10% body fat. It is the most ideal body fat percentage to be at, where you look nice and healthy. You can see your six-pack abs, you can see your muscle definition, you feel good, you look good. This is like the optimal range for especially males to be in when it comes to their body fat. And most guys watching this right now think the answer is to either starve themselves, suffer in a gym, sacrifice, and all these things. And I know this because I have done it myself personally. I've competed in 3 bodybuilding shows, just did one this past weekend, and I've been leaner than 99% of people watching this. I have lived the shredded lifestyle. I've walked around with just freaking veins in my abs, and I look like a superhero on stage. But here's what no one tells you. The fastest way down to 10% body fat is not the fastest way forward. And if you get shredded the wrong way, you won't look your best, you won't feel your best, you more than likely won't be able to keep it and maintain it, and you sure as hell won't enjoy your life either. So today, I'm going to show you the wrong fast way that ruins your body, the real fastest way that actually preserves muscle mass, performance, and confidence, so you don't end up looking like this skinny fat version of yourself with low body fat, but then also low muscle mass, because I assume most people watching this, they want to get down to 10% body fats with a lean muscular physique and not with like no muscle mass, because then you just look anorexic, and that's not really what anyone finds attractive or actually wants, right? And then also I'm going to explain how my clients reach 10 to 15% body fat using the Barbarian diet. And then also lastly, how you can actually start implementing this today. So make sure you have a pen and paper handy, write down some notes, and hopefully you'll be able to start implementing right away. So I've coached hundreds of busy men by now to drop 20, 30, all the way up to 50 pounds and reach 10 to 15% body fat without starving themselves or spending hours in the gym. And I learned what works the hard way through obviously doing those 3 bodybuilding show preps, cutting aggressively, suffering mentally, socially, and hormonally. Whereas now, by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to reach 10% body fat as fast as your body can realistically handle without burning muscle, killing hormones, or rebounding. So we're going to break this down into 3 sections, which is number 1, the wrong fast way. Number 2, the real fast way. And then lastly, the Barbarian diet blueprint, the diet that we advise our clients to follow to actually get down to this actual body fat percentage. So let's start with part 1, the wrong fast way that everyone tries. So if you go on Google right now, or even ChatGPT, although I would say ChatGPT is probably a bit smarter nowadays, but if you were to type in how to get shredded fast as possible, I got summer break in 2 weeks, I got spring break in 2 weeks, I got the holidays in 2 weeks, I got a vacation in 2 weeks, like I want to get shredded fast. And you'll likely get advice like this: either drop your calories down to 1,000, or cut out all carbohydrates completely, or do hours upon hours of high intensity interval training, HIIT workouts, or train twice a day, or overuse caffeine and fat burners, and sleep less and grind more. And now, yes, all of these things on paper do work 100%. You will definitely lose a bunch of weight, but here's the problem. You end up lighter, right? You do end up losing weight, but you do not end up better. So when I prepped for my first bodybuilding show, this was back in 2021, I somewhat followed this approach. So despite me looking amazing on stage with like veins everywhere, behind the scenes, a couple things went wrong. So my libido was completely gone. My sleep absolutely sucked. I remember just not being able to sleep at all. I would go to bed, or at least try to go to bed at 10 p.m. and I'd close my eyes. And as soon as my head hit the pillow, I would just immediately start fantasizing and thinking about food. And then all night long, I just remembered constantly thinking about food and not really being able to sleep, because when your mind is so deprived of food and it is so food focused, not only is your libido going to be lower, you're not going to have that drive towards like being attracted to other people, but you're always going to be thinking about food. And it is such a not fun experience. Like it's not a fun experience. It's not a fun moment to be in, because you're going to be sacrificing your sleep. You're going to be sacrificing your libido. You're only going to be thinking about food while you're eating your meal, you're going to be thinking about your next meal, and you're constantly in like this scarcity mindset of like, oh no, like when's my next meal going to come? And it's almost you're like in like this fight or flight mode where you're constantly under stress. Your cortisol is really, really high. And so, yeah, that's definitely not something that I wish upon anyone. So my sleep sucked. My mood was absolutely trash because when you're food deprived, when you're sleep deprived, obviously your energy levels are going to tank. Your strength levels in the gym are going to tank. Food completely controlled my mind. And after the show was done, I rebounded fast. Shredded wasn't freedom, it was prison. And getting lean is not the skill, but staying lean. That right there, that is the skill. I don't really get impressed by anyone getting shredded or getting lean for a bodybuilding show, because anyone can suffer through a 3-month, 4-month bodybuilding show prep. Anyone can do that. If you set a deadline towards something, most people can kind of like grind through it. They have enough willpower. They have a finite kind of like deadline there. They're just like, okay, like I'm just going to grind through this. I can do this. But what I find a lot more impressive is being able to see people maintain. I mean, obviously not to that extent, because doing a bodybuilding show, you got to get down to like sub single digit, 5-6% body fat, but maintaining 10, 11, 12% body fat and being able to maintain that year round, that's what I find impressive. And that's what we actually preach to all of our clients. We don't want them to get super, super shredded. We just want them to get honestly to a healthier body weight where like the hormones are back to normal. Their blood work actually looks good. Their energy levels are good. Their confidence is actually good. Their clothes start to feel a bit better. They actually have enough energy to keep up with their kids. They have enough energy to actually make it through their workday, to just live life, explore, travel, do all these things. And so just know that you don't need to get to like single digit body fat percentage in order to feel the way that you want to feel or get the benefits that you want to get. You can honestly get there at around, I mean, I would say for most males, I'm going to say probably around 15% body fat, which is also going to be a lot more sustainable for you to sustain over the long run, because you're not going to be food focused. You're not going to be food deprived. You're still going to be eating a ton of food, and your energy levels are going to be very high. So you can be nice and active, burn calories, right? So that'll lead me on to part 2, which is the real fastest way to actually get down to 10% body fat. So there are 2 versions of fast. The first version is fast and unsustainable, and the second version is fast and repeatable. We only care about version number 2, the fast and repeatable version. And here's how it actually works. So rule number 1, try to lose around 0.7 to 1% of your total body weight per week. This right here is the sweet spot that, yes, it's still quite fast, but it is achievable. And more importantly, it actually protects muscle. If you go a bit faster than this, you'll increase your risk of losing muscle mass. Whereas if you go a bit slower than this, you'll just end up procrastinating, right? So you don't want to be too fast with losing weight, but then you also don't want to be too slow with losing weight. You want to kind of like find that middle ground, which tends to be around losing 0.7 to 1% of your total body weight per week. This usually lands your calories around 10 to 12 calories per pound of body weight, depending on obviously like your training volume, like how much you train per week, your stress levels, and then also your adherence to the program. So using an example, if a 200-pound man starts, or a 200 man starts around 2,000 to 2,400 calories and adjusts weekly based on obviously progress photos, your skill, right? How much you weigh, your gym performance, are you getting stronger or not? How is your performance in the gym? Your sleep, what's your sleep quality like? Your hunger levels, are you constantly hungry, food focused, or are you feeling good? And then also your steps. Rule number 2 is protein and food volume are your hunger insurance. So we prioritize 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight from a high quality protein source, whether it's a lean meat, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or whey protein. Typically, we tend to advise most people to be, just for simplicity's sake, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but just know that you can definitely be on the lower end, so 0.8 grams per pound of body weight or 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. But for simplicity's sake, if you weigh 200 pounds, try to eat around 200 grams of protein from these high quality sources of protein that I just listed. And if you pair this with high volume, low calorie foods such as fruits, veggies, potatoes, popcorn, zucchini noodles, and high protein soups, you're going to be staying nice and full and nice and satisfied throughout your entire diet, which is absolutely key, because I don't know about you, but I would rather not feel hungry during my diet than being hungry. And I see a lot of people say that, oh, like, your diet works whenever you're hungry. But like, especially in my last bodybuilding show, I was not really hungry. I mean, I was hungry sometimes, but like I would say 80, if not 90% of the time, I felt good. I felt satisfied. I felt like just productive, wasn't really food focused. And that is because I actually chose the proper food options. I did not, quote unquote, waste my calories on eating foods that digested very, very quickly and that just made me hungry afterwards. I prioritized whole foods that kept me nice and full, that were high in protein, high in fiber, alongside drinking a lot of water. And that kept me very, very full. And so despite me not really feeling hungry, I was still losing weight every single week, more specifically losing body fat. And I got down to single digit body fat percentage without even feeling hungry. Because once again, I chose the proper food options. And this is also why my clients lose weight while feeling full, instead of waiting to snap like a rubber band, waiting for the next meal, constantly being food focused, constantly thinking about the next meal. So let's move on to rule number 3. Lift to build and not to burn. If your training turns into a cardio circuit, like burpees and just random suffering, you're literally telling your body that, hey, muscle, it's not important. Now, to hit 10% body fat and look athletic, you need to be lifting 3 to 6 times per week with like actual resistance training. So actually lifting heavy weights with compound lifts within the hypertrophy or like muscle building rep range, which tends to be in the 5 to 30 rep range. Focus on progressive overload, which means that you're getting stronger, or at least try to get stronger every single workout by either adding more reps and or adding more weights over time. Supplementing and creatine can be beneficial as well. And then also prioritizing your sleep. This is exactly what one of my clients, Charles, did. And he ended up looking a lot more muscular and not more skinny. Moving on to rule number 4, cardio supports fat loss and not sabotages recovery. We do not use cardio as punishment. We simply just use daily steps. So good kind of range to be within is around 8,000 to 12,000 steps daily in the form of either walking, incline walking, or using the stairs, the elliptical, the Stairmaster, or even going on some light jogs. But yeah, honestly, I would have most of my clients just go on daily walks because anyone can do it at any time. And then also, more importantly, it is very low fatiguing, very low stress on your joints, connective tissue. So especially if you're starting out at a heavier body weight, if you try to run on pavement, that's a lot of like beating up your joints and connective tissues, a lot of like beating on your knees. And that can actually like cause injury. And that can actually set you back from resistance training and working out and doing your leg workouts, which I just discussed the importance of actually resistance training. So if your cardio starts to hinder your actual weightlifting sessions, that is an immediate red flag. We want to use cardio as a tool to burn more calories and not as a way to sabotage your workouts. And especially if you're doing high intensity interval training and it's interfering with your actual weight training workouts, that's not a good place to be at. So try, if you can, to have the lowest stress cardio that you can also sustain for the long run, because once it starts beating up your joints, beating up your connective tissues, and it starts hindering your life and your workouts, I will definitely change your modality of cardio. So like I said, walking is the most popular way to be active throughout the day without it beating up your joints and connective tissues, and anyone can do it. Regardless of what your starting point is right now, if you're 20% body fat, 30% body fat, if you're 300 pounds, 400 pounds overweight, you can still walk, right? Whereas not everyone can hop on a bike or swim or jog or run or do sprints or do high intensity interval training. Anyone can walk at any time, right? And so just make sure that it fits within your schedule when you want to do workouts in the morning time before work, or in the afternoon time during your lunch break, or at nights before going to bed. Try to fit it into your schedule, make it a priority, and try to also sprinkle in a couple more movements throughout the day. So a couple of things that I would advise my clients to do is, just small little things like parking a bit further away from work, from the grocery store, so you have a bit more distance to walk. Don't take the elevator, use the stair instead. go grocery shopping. Any opportunity you have to move your body, to be active, to go shopping. Like if your wife asks you like, hey, let's make a trip to IKEA, instead of saying no and sitting on the couch all day, just say, oh, heck yeah, this is an opportunity for me to be more active, to browse around and kind of killing multiple birds with one stone, because now we get to shop at IKEA, which hopefully is somewhat productive, while also getting in your steps, doing more cardio, burning more calories therefore, right? And so this is exactly how my client Reagan got super, super lean without hating every single workout, because he incorporated the walking, into his lifestyle. Some other clients actually have a walking pad. So they work from home. They ordered a step kind of thing, like a treadmill underneath their standing desk, and they just walk all day basically at a pretty low intensity. But yeah, it adds up to 10 to 12,000 steps at the end of the day. And this is, I tell my clients this all the time, but you are literally getting paid to do your cardio if you're able to do that. It's like if you're able to have a walking pad while you work, I mean, oh my goodness, like that excites me. Like I unfortunately don't have that, but if you have access to that, I would reframe your mindset and say, oh my goodness, this sucks, I don't want to walk. Reframe your mindset and say, wow, I actually get to burn calories, be productive, do work, make money while doing cardio, while burning calories. So I'm quite literally getting paid to do cardio. How amazing is that? How blessed am I? How grateful am I to be able to do that? So moving on to rule number 5, manage your stress levels, your sleep, and your environment. Shredded is not built in the gym. It's built in your life structure away from the gym. So many people think that the gym is everything, but like realistically speaking, you're only in the gym maybe like a couple hours during the week. Like you do not need to live in a gym. Like in and out, 45 minutes, a couple times a week, that's all you got to do. Right? It's like we're there to stimulate our muscles and not annihilate our muscles. And you can be very, very effective with just honestly as little as 2 to 3 whole body workouts, 45-minute sessions per week. Like you're going to be good to go. So don't be too fussed about, okay, once you get the gym covered, you got a good program, you're on a solid program, you're progressively overloading. Like, okay, what do we do now with the rest of our life, with the rest of the day? Because realistically speaking, let's say even you do work out every single day, that is just 1 hour out of the other 23 hours out of the day. So I'm far more concerned about what you do outside of the gym than what you do inside of the gym. So you really have to monitor this, right? So that includes your sleep. Try to get at the very least 7 all the way up to 9 hours of high quality sleep every single night. When it comes to your meals, try to keep the same meals, right? This just requires less thinking, less brain power, because if you're constantly switching up your meals every single day, you're just going to be having to go on your phone and just figure out like, oh, what are the calories for this? What are the macros for this? Does this fit within my macros? I got to weigh everything on my food scale. There's just a lot of just like fuss going on. Like for me right now, like I order most of my meals through a meal prep delivery service. And so all I really have to do is I go online, I order my meals for the week, and then they get it delivered to my house. And then I just microwave it and then I eat it and then I go straight to work. No fussing over like calories, macros. Like, yes, I still keep track of it, but I don't like fuss over it. I don't think too much over it, right? And that allows me to save my brain power, because we only have a finite amount of like brain power that we can utilize every single day towards the bigger decisions, right? Like I don't want to be wasting my brain power on the small little decisions of what am I going to eat for breakfast? What clothes am I going to wear? Are my socks got to match? Like what underwear should I wear? Like all of this is systemized and delegated. And now it's actually freed up more brain power that I can make the bigger decisions in my life that actually move the needle forward with my business, with my clients, with my relationships, like with just anything more important than thinking about over like what my next meal should be, right? And so if you can eat the same meals, it just requires less thinking, and that'll be so much easier for you. Thirdly is your kitchen. Your kitchen environment aligned? Is your kitchen environment aligned with your actual goals? Like if your kitchen is filled with junk food, is this actually going to help you reach your goals, or is it going to take you further away from your goals? So it sounds like a no-brainer, silly question to ask, but like analyze your kitchen. Look at your kitchen right now. Is it going to help you get down to 10% body fat, or is it going to take you further away from getting out to 10% body fat? So like simply put, get rid of all the snacks. At the very least, hide it, lock it up. If you're living with other people, if you have kids, children that insist on having cookies in the drawers, at the very least, lock it up. Hide it, out of sight, out of mind. But if you can, just get rid of it altogether. Don't even tempt yourself to begin with. And then lastly is plant high protein Lastly is, if you do insist on eating out, make sure that you plan it, right? So if you want to eat out on the weekends, go on a date night, go out with the boys, have a couple beers, you cannot not have that. We're not saying no to that, but just make sure that at the very least you pre-plan it in advance. Because if you wake up on a Saturday morning and you had no anticipation of going out and eating a pizza that day, you're more than likely going to blow your calories for the day and then probably for the week as well. Whereas if you know, let's say it's a Monday and you know that on Saturday, I have pre-plans with my friends to go out to this restaurant, you can actually make strategic decisions leading up to that day, because now you have like a full week in advance to strategically plan for that, so that when that day arrives, you can still eat your favorite food while still being within your weekly calorie goal. This is something that we like to do with our clients called calorie banking, where you strategically reduce the calories leading up to that day, not by a whole lot, just by a couple hundred, so that when that day arrives, you have up to 1,000, if not more, calories saved up from the entire week that you can now allocate towards your more fun food, whether it's your pizza or your sushi or whatever else you want to eat. So this is why nobody inside of our program needs cheat meals, because we don't ban foods, we just strategically include them into the plan, right? Moving on to part number 3, which is the Barbarian diet blueprint. So inside of the Barbarian diet, we follow 8 core pillars. Number 1, whole foods first. The reason why is because they're more filling, they're less trigger responsive, meaning that you don't get hungry after eating a big plate of potatoes and chicken and avocado. After you're done eating that meal, you're more than likely going to feel nice and satisfied. Whereas after eating a big bowl of ice cream, you're probably going to want to eat more ice cream, right? Because it's a high trigger food, hyper palatable food, and it just makes you want to eat even more. So number 1, whole foods first. Number 2, protein with every single meal. I do not consider it a meal if it does not have protein in it. Even if you're a vegan, there's still high protein vegan options out there that you can add into your meal. But yeah, if your meal does not have a high quality source of protein, I do not consider it a meal. I consider it a snack that a 5-year-old would eat. But you're an adult watching this, so make sure that every single time you eat, incorporate protein. It's going to keep you nice and full, and it's also going to preserve your muscle mass. Number 3, high volume, low calorie density. Focus on foods that are high in volume and low in calories. And that means mainly eating whole foods, fruits, veggies, lean proteins. These are going to be your best friends on this fat loss journey. Number 4, simple meals that are repeated often. Instead of eating 20 different meals throughout the week, just causing all this stress and all this unnecessary fuss, having to track and weigh and plug everything into MyFitnessPal, just eat the same 2, 3, 4, 5 meals max throughout the week, at least Monday through Friday, when you're already going to be on a consistent routine, you're already going to be going to work, you know exactly when to be clocking in, clocking out, and your meal should be eaten on a repeatable basis, at least Monday through Friday, right? Like you have a consistent lunch break, you have a consistent, hopefully morning routine, evening routine. So just revolve your meals around those times. And if you can, just eat the similar meals. It'll save you so much brain power, so much stress from having to think about what your next meal should be. Just eat the same meals. It'll be an absolute game changer for you if you haven't done that already. Number 5, steps every single day. This is a non-negotiable. Whether you want to get in your steps in the morning, afternoon, nighttime, throughout the day, whatever you can do, just be active throughout the day. This is going to help you burn hundreds of extra calories throughout the week to help you stay within that calorie deficit for fat loss to occur. Number 6, strength training as a priority. We want to prioritize our strength training sessions and not our cardio sessions to make sure that we preserve and build muscle mass. Number 7, real food flexibility, not restriction. And then number 8, identity anchored, not motivation. You don't just lose weight. You need to become the person who stays lean, because that right there is a difference between dieting and becoming the person who can actually sustain these results. Because like I said, I'm far more impressed by someone who can maintain a lean, muscular physique year round than someone who gets there, goes on a 3-month diet, and then loses it all after their diet ends. So you really have to change your identity. Don't just view this as like a quick 2-month, 3-month, 4-month stint. View this as a lifestyle change. Because if you don't, you're just going to go back to your old habits again and gain all the weight, if not more, back again. So really, really, really change your identity as you go about this. Slow and steady always wins the race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So here's my final message, the identity shift. I got shredded 3 times for bodybuilding competitions, but what actually changed my life was learning how to be lean without competing. Not lean for a show, but lean for life, lean for the rest of my life. That is what I teach now. That is what my clients achieve, and that is what you can do next. So if you want the exact step-by-step coaching plan we use to take busy men to 10 to 50% body fat without starting themselves or rebounding after the program is done, what you can go ahead and do is schedule a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals. We'll see exactly where you're at right now, whether you're at 10%, not 10%. If you're at 10%, you probably don't need my help. But if you're at 20%, 30%, whatever percent you're at right now, we'll look at where you're currently at. We'll look at where you want to get down to. We'll look at your current struggles, see exactly what's holding you back right now, and then we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.